One slip up, and you'll be deader than the first man to die in the Battle of the Boyne.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 celebrity reactions to Family Guy parodies.
Hey, my friend, who should I make this out to?
Yeah, make it out to Charmin, because that's how I'm going to use it.
For this list, we'll be looking at household names who responded to this animated sitcom sendups of themselves and their work. Which Family Guy celebrity caricature made you laugh the hardest? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Today hosts. You know you've made it when Family Guy makes fun of you. At least, that's what the third hour Today hosts told themselves. Peter immediately catches Lois's attention when he mentions the Today Show. While Lois is eager to talk about Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie, she writes off the third hour hosts as nonsense people.
Second hour with Hoda and Savannah, a third hour with the nonsense people.
Second hour.
Where is it?
A few weeks later on Today, Dylan Dreyer, Chanel Jones, Craig Melvin, and Al Roker had a good laugh over the clip. Dreyer called it a career highlight, while Jones jokingly blamed Roker for the savage burn. Craig was just glad that two cartoon characters were watching their show.
We made Family Guy!
This is like the highlight of my career.
We made Family Guy!
I was like, this is... Have you seen that?
No, I have not seen
well,
that.
because it's your fault.
Thank you.
Considering that Family Guy is the king of nonsense humor, they should consider it the highest compliment possible. Number 19. Dan Rather. Have you ever noticed that when news anchor Dan Rather speaks, he sometimes put a distinct emphasis on his S's, almost as if he's whistling?
To our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines in dangerous places.
Well, the Family Guy writers noticed, and you definitely will too after seeing this clip. As Stewie watches the news, Rather reads an alliteration where almost every word begins with S.
Several of Saddam's southern settlement squatters.
This causes Rather to shoot steam out of his ear like a teapot, requiring a crew member to move him over. Rather hadn't seen the clip until someone brought it up on an Ask Me Anything Reddit. He responded with a reaction video, cracking up over the steam joke and proclaiming his love for it.
So that's your reaction.
Exactly. I love it.
We wonder what Rather thinks about some of the show's other jabs at him. Number 18. Rush Limbaugh. On the political spectrum, Seth MacFarlane and Rush Limbaugh are on opposite ends.
You suck, and you're terrible, and you've been divorced several times.
You'd expect Family Guy to take plenty of shots at Limbaugh, but you wouldn't think that the late conservative commentator would lend his voice. Yet Limbaugh made multiple cameos in the Laugh It Up Fuzzball trilogy.
My good friends, the liberal galactic media is at it again. They never stop. Now they're trying to convince us that Hoth is melting.
He also played a key role in an episode where Brian temporarily goes to the far right. Discussing why he accepted these guest spots, Limbaugh explains that he saw it as a chance to branch out from his fan base. Plus, he thinks MacFarlane is really talented. Despite the numerous Republican jokes, Limbaugh didn't find anything in the script that he wanted taken out. Since Rush will be Rush, though, he did accuse Fox of burying the episode.
You see, you're not really one of us.
Oh my God. Lois was right.
Number 17. Sarah Snook. If they ever make a live-action Family Guy movie, Sarah Snook of Succession should be in the running to play Lois.
What, are you best pals with him now? Have you done a deal?
They could even have Brian Cox as Carter Pewterschmidt. Peter references Snook's likeness to his wife when he sends a mean tweet to her.
Fine, but I'm gonna tweet mean stuff at celebrities that look vaguely like you.
Confusing Snook for her character, Shiv Roy, Peter tweets that her father will never give her the company. We don't think Shiv would appreciate Peter's comments, but Kendall Roy does. The same night the episode aired, Succession won big at the SAG Awards. Although Snook wasn't at the ceremony, she posted her reaction on Instagram. She also shared her Family Guy clip, citing it as one of 3 things that happened that day. The third apparently involved cookie faces. Number 16. Jonathan Lipnicki. We'd say that every former child star goes through an awkward stage, but let's be honest, everybody goes through an awkward stage.
Ah, there's the cute little guy now. Hang on.
Nevertheless, Peter is beyond horrified to find that Jonathan Lipnicki has mutated from the adorable Jerry Maguire kid to, well, this.
Look what has happened to Jonathan Lipnicki!
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You should probably take care of that.
Although some of his fans felt Family Guy went too far, the real Lipnicki tweeted it was all in good fun, adding that he had done some voice work for the show. When TMZ asked him about the gag, Lipnicki stated that it was an honor.
You know, they're great guys, so I don't take it personally. I think it's funny, and I'm honored to be made fun of on that show.
Lipnicki also showed off his abs during the interview. Family Guy might have portrayed him as a pudgy, big-mouthed adolescent, but Lipnicki has actually gotten quite ripped. So we guess he got the last laugh. Number 15. Robbie Krieger.
So have you ever watched The Family Guy? Do you watch that show?
A little bit.
A little bit. Did you ever see they did a little parody scene of the Doors movie. I don't know if you ever saw it.
No, I never saw that.
All right, we'll hit play. We'll see what you think.
Peter is a lousy teacher, but he does give Chris and Meg a mind-bending lesson on film and music history. Venturing into the desert while tripping on peyote, Peter and his two eldest children pay tribute to Oliver Stone's 1991 musical biopic, The Doors.
But first I must inhale. And again. And again. Let's go to the Hollywood Hills and kill a bunch of people.
While Robbie Krieger was vaguely familiar with Family Guy, the Doors parody had eluded the band's guitarist. Almost a decade after the episode first aired, Krieger filmed a reaction for the Doors' YouTube channel. Krieger can be seen smiling and chuckling throughout. He even cracks up at Peter's final line, alluding to the Manson family. Although he seems to enjoy the bit, Krieger claims that the Doors didn't do peyote in the desert, at least not altogether.
Now, you guys never actually went to the desert, right? You never did peyote in the desert?
Not as a foursome, no.
Okay.
Number 14. Jon Stewart. Although Jon Stewart voiced himself on American Dad, he's only been mentioned in passing on Family Guy.
Steve, I read your sketch packet, and I just had to meet you.
According to McFarlane, though, he got an angry hour-long phone call from Stewart about a Family Guy joke. McFarlane didn't specify what the joke was or which episode it was from, but it apparently involves the 2007 to 2008 writer's strike. While both comedians supported the strike, Stewart would return to his show about a month before it actually ended. It's been theorized that the inside joke regarding Stewart saw Peter grow a horse leg and kick Brian for standing behind him. Whether or not this was the joke, Stewart wasn't pleased with McFarlane. McFarlane acknowledged that the joke might have crossed a line, but he stood by its message.
He was not pleased. I think his response was, who the hell made you the moral arbiter of Hollywood? Which is,
Number 13. Gal Gadot. We can't say that Gal Gadot's Imagine video was the worst thing to come out of March 2020, but what was intended to uplift humanity only inspired laughs and face palms.
Imagine there's no heaven.
A year and a half after Gadot sang along with her fellow celebrities, Family Guy commented on the cringeworthy video. Encouraging people to get vaccinated, Stewie notes that another variant could lead to another lockdown, leading to more of Gadot's singing.
If the virus is allowed to spread through an unvaccinated population, it could mutate into a variant that the vaccines might not protect against. And then we're right back where we started. Gal Gadot singing Imagine. We cannot let that happen.
Gadot has acknowledged that her well-intentioned video misfired and has learned to laugh about it. She shared the Family Guy PSA on Twitter, writing, "I promise I'll never do that again if you get vaccinated." Gadot even encouraged her followers to watch the whole video. Family Guy's official Twitter account responded, "Since you're vaccinated, we forgive you."
Well, I just realized this is like one of those Schoolhouse Rocks, except without the rock.
Yeah, it's like school. Way to end strong, Brian.
Number 12. Sarah Palin.
So what do your parents do?
That's better. My dad's an accountant, and my mom is the former governor of Alaska.
When Chris dates a young lady with Down syndrome named Ellen, she mentions that her mother is the former governor of Alaska. It's a clear jab at Sarah Palin, who has a son with Down syndrome who was about 2 when this episode aired. On Facebook, Bristol Palin referred to Family Guy as a particularly pathetic cartoon, calling the creators heartless jerks. Sarah Palin shared similar criticisms on The O'Reilly Factor, calling them cruel, cold-hearted people.
Those in the special needs community truly are some of the most loving and compassionate people in the world. So why pile it on to them and make their lives even that much more challenging? She said it best.
McFarlane discussed the controversy on Bill Maher, noting that Andrea Faye Friedman, who voiced Ellen and has Down syndrome, released a statement saying that the joke was directed at Palin, not her son. Friedman added, "I guess former Governor Palin does not have a sense of humor."
What Sarah Palin, I think, was doing was coming out and saying, "I'm here to defend you." Right. And what Andrea, the actress, had said was, you know, this is, I don't need this. I love my life. I'm very happy.
Number 11, an audience of celebs. Stewie and Brian kicked off the 2007 Primetime Emmys with a musical number paying tribute to television. Well, more specifically, all the garbage on television.
CBS was once a network that was reverent and clean, but today they've got some shows that are remarkably obscene.
Like the show about a little boy who lives with Charlie Sheen.
The tune is set to the melody of the FCC song, which already borrowed from the show tune Volunteer Fireman's Picnic.
ABC has got a lineup that's refreshing and alive, with its hits like Desperate Housewives just continuing to thrive.
And those women look sensational for being 65.
Throughout the song, the duo references the surprisingly creepy premise of 2.5 Men, the ages of the Desperate Housewives cast, and Isaiah Washington's dismissal from Grey's Anatomy. While Washington wasn't present, T.R. Knight was in the crowd.
Now the Peacock's having trouble simply staying in the race, so I hear they're bringing Seinfeld back to save a little face.
And I hear Isaiah Washington is taking Kramer's place.
The camera cuts to reaction shots in the audience with Charlie Sheen, Terry Hatcher, Felicity Huffman, Eva Longoria, Marcia Cross, James Gandolfini, and Edie Falco all laughing along. Their last jab comes at the expense of The Sopranos.
Now The Sopranos is a show I'd recommend,
because you never know just how it's gonna.
Number 10, George Lucas.
Oh, sorry. This is my joke lightsaber. It's cute, right? Okay, for real now.
Although Family Guy and Star Wars have Fox in common, well, Disney now, McFarlane and company likely wouldn't have produced Blue Harvest without Lucasfilm's blessing. Despite getting permission, McFarlane didn't have the best feeling when they screened the episode for George Lucas at his ranch. The crew half expected Lucas to say, "You know what? We can't allow this to air." To their relief, Lucas laughed a few times, cementing his approval.
I got him! I got him!
Right, kid, don't get penisy!
With the second Star Wars parody, Lucas did take issue with a certain 4-lettered word and some other dark jokes, but he ultimately signed off.
I love you.
Off. With the third Star Wars Parodies release, McFarlane said they don't allow everything, but they allow a lot. They allow Family Guy to be Family Guy.
Wow, there are all kind of manner of crazy monsters in here.
Yeah, and they added even more for the special edition.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
Number 9, Cary Elwes. Cary Elwes has many memorable roles to his name. According to Peter, though, his only noteworthy contributions to pop culture are The Princess Bride and Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Dear Cary Elwes, I have been meaning to contact you for some time.
Peter articulates this in a scathing fan letter to Elwes. Some celebrities might call or email in response to a joke like this.
P.S. You were in Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Did you know that?
Elwes went a step beyond, showing up to the Family Guy offices shortly after with a letter for Peter, which he read aloud in the writer's room. McFarlane reflected, the way he did it was just so epic and classy and hilarious that we now know we've got to bring him on the show for real. Since then, Elwes has indeed lent his voice to several characters, including Dr. Watson.
Amazing, Holmes. How did you know that?
Number 8, Alyssa Milano. This might be cheating since Alyssa Milano was in on the joke, but it's still technically a celebrity reacting to a parody. Defending the cigarette company that he works for, Peter makes a joke at the charmed actress's expense. Little does Peter know that Milano is watching the episode live, and she has a lawyer on standby to sue if anyone ever pokes fun at her.
What kind of cheap shot, Joel?
I'm suing, I'm on it.
Fun fact, Joel is actually played by Ricky Blitt, one of the episode's writers. It'd be one thing if Milano voiced a caricature of herself, but having Milano make a live-action appearance is what makes this joke so memorable.
Alyssa Milano, I knew you were gonna be hot.
While Milano didn't really sue Family Guy, another celebrity on this list did. More on that later. Number 7. James Woods.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Man, I hope that's James Woods, because if it's me under there again, I'm going to be really pissed off.
Where many Family Guy caricatures require an impressionist, James Woods has voiced himself on numerous occasions. Woods was flattered when the show's school was called James Woods High, paving the way for him to guest star. Although he's depicted as an eccentric antagonist who torments the Griffins, Woods stated in a 2015 interview that he enjoys making fun of himself. So much so that he doesn't demand compensation.
Family Guy is a funny thing because I just really enjoy making fun of myself because it's just like, everybody else is going to do it. I might as well join in.
3 years later, though, the increasingly controversial Woods tweeted that he turned down a Family Guy episode due to its anti-conservative nature. Woods hasn't voiced himself since 2016, while the school has become Adam West High. Although his Family Guy days are likely over, we'd love to hear the unreleased recording sessions between Woods and Seth MacFarlane.
What were some of the things you were saying?
Oh, I could. I said, burn those tapes. No, I mean, believe me, we make more fun of ourselves than anybody else.
Number 6. Willem Dafoe. We'd gladly take an evil monkey living in our closet over a green goblin under our bed. Through a cutaway gag, Stewie reflects on how Willem Dafoe used to reside beneath his crib.
I used to have a Willem Dafoe living under my bed.
Hey, you asleep yet?
No.
Just checking.
Voiced by David Anthony Pizzuto, Dafoe pops his head out from under the crib, waiting for Stewie to fall asleep. The Oscar-nominated actor smokes a cigarette to pass the time, slithering back under. Where exactly do his legs go? Although Dafoe wasn't familiar with Family Guy, somebody told him to check out the clip on YouTube.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know the show, but I know some people really love it.
Dafoe thought it was weird, but he also found the cameo pretty cool, having a good laugh about it. Now, if only Joe could learn to pronounce Willem's name correctly.
Yeah, I just love William Dafoe.
It's not William, it's Willem.
Yeah, that's what I said, William. He was in Spider-Man with Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
Number 5. Marlee Matlin. An Oscar winner and inspiration to deaf performers everywhere, Marlee Matlin has been parodied multiple times on Family Guy.
Hi, Stewie! Oh, come on, Marlee. I know you can't hear them, but you gotta feel those things slapping out of there.
In addition to neglecting her farts while passing by Stewie, Matlin struggles to book movie tickets over the phone.
Please say the name of the movie you'd like to see now.
The last Memty.
You have selected 300.
While Alex Borstein voices her, Matlin's agent supposedly got in touch, asking why they didn't enlist the real Matlin. Borstein and Matlin later confronted each other on Seth and Alex's almost live comedy show. Matlin jokingly criticizes Borstein's impression and teaches her some suggestive sign language.
You want to learn some sign language?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Behind the scenes, Matlin defended the various parodies of herself, stating, "The day we censor humor is a sad one for sure. All I gotta say is, line up, people." Matlin would eventually land a role in Family Guy, voicing Stella.
Nice to meet you.
Well, what is this? We doing a new secret handshake now?
No, Griffin, she's deaf.
Oh. Can she read lips?
Yes, I can.
So if I do this, I can talk about what a sweet rack she has?
Yes, but try not to make a boob honking gesture with your other hand while you're saying it.
Number 4. Adam West. Outside of Batman, the late great Adam West is perhaps best remembered for voicing a fictional version of himself on Family Guy.
So it's a shouting match you want, eh? Well, game on, Quahog. I'm beating you!
Although you could argue that Mayor West isn't as absurd as some real-life politicians, he's still eccentric to say the least. McFarlane's collaboration with West began on Johnny Bravo, planting the seeds for the mayor of Quahog.
Who are you, newcomer?
Johnny Bravo.
Oh, well, hand me that towel.
Over the course of nearly 2 decades, West led a crusade against water stealers, dedicated a statue to Diggum Frog, and destroyed the Noid. In various interviews, West has acknowledged how absurd his dialogue is, but he never had a problem with making fun of himself. You can tell how much McFarlane admired West, and considering that West compared McFarlane to Batman, the feeling was mutual.
For starters, he has superhuman abilities.
Number 3. Adrian Brody. Brief yet brutal, the season 9 premiere took a shot at this Oscar-winning actor's star power.
Just for that, when the movie of the story comes out, I'm gonna make sure Adrian Brody plays you.
I guess that means you don't want anyone to see it.
Okay, all right.
But hey, that's not true, Tom. The house is packed when Meg goes to see that 3D movie where Mr. Brody does sit-ups. Of course, the 3D gets a little too real with Brody's nose poking out of the screen.
1, 2.
Despite making fun of him, McFarlane reportedly let Brody know at a party that he was a fan of the movie Splice. While McFarlane wanted to let bygones be bygones, Brody couldn't help but take offense to the mockery. McFarlane didn't go into great detail, but apparently there were hard feelings.
I said, like, hey, I really like Splice. I hope there's no hard feelings. And essentially the upshot was, well, there are.
It's also worth noting that Family Guy isn't the only McFarlane cartoon that made fun of Brody.
Hello, beautiful. How'd you get so beautiful? How'd you get that sunshine in your smile?
Number 2. Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is a great actor, but the Northern Ireland native doesn't put on the most convincing American accent. Family Guy made fun of this with Neeson, voiced by writer John Wiener, struggling to play an all-American cowboy.
Gonna take a fortnight at least to get this herd down to St. Louis on Mississippi. This glen's gonna be tough to traverse, and that river's gotta be 50, 60 meters wide.
When Neeson's sons brought the clip to his attention, it marked his introduction to Family Guy. In an ironic twist, McFarlane contacted Neeson years later about starring in his cowboy comedy A Million Ways to Die in the West. Neeson agreed to play the film's villain, but only if he used his Irish accent.
I said, I'll do it on condition that I can use my own Irish accent.
Neeson has also voiced himself on a few occasions, including one episode where he beats up Peter. That's what happens when you make fun of someone with a very particular set of skills.
That's right. I hear you've been all over town saying you could kick my arse.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Carol Burnett. Some celebs laugh along with Family Guy parodies. Others take offense, but legendary comedian Carol Burnett stands out as one of the few who actually sued. At Quagmire's favorite store, Burnett's charwoman character from her variety sketch show can be spotted. Although her screen time is brief and tamer than some other Family Guy caricatures, Burnett argued that Fox had committed copyright infringement and violated her publicity rights. Sources reported that Burnett sought between $2 and $6 million in damages. Judge Dean Pregerson ultimately threw out the lawsuit, citing the First Amendment as Family Guy's ace in the hole. However, Pregerson said that he fully appreciates how distasteful and offensive the segment is to Miss Burnett. Hey, she got off easier than Jimmy Fallon did.
And this is for laughing and looking at the camera during every sketch you've ever been in. Who do you think you are, Carol Burnett? You think because she did it, it's okay for you?
You haven't earned what she's earned, buddy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.